News overseas now. We are just weeks away from Britain's vote on whether to stay or exit the European Union. Known as Brexit, a British exit from the EU, the question has been hotly contested among world leaders, including President Obama, who many Britons felt should not have weighed in on the issue during his recent trip there. Tonight I'm joined by Kate Hoey, member of the British Parliament and the Labour Party, and one of the leading campaigners for Brexit. Thanks for being here.
Pleasure to be here.
For Americans who have not been following this closely, what is driving the push for Brexit?
I think it's a democratic argument. You know, we've got a free trade area between the 28 countries. That's what people joined originally and what the United Kingdom joined. But what it's become now is really a move towards a political union. And it's a bit like your trade agreement with Mexico and Canada. You know, the American people wouldn't stand for a court in Mexico to overrule what your courts had said, nor they wouldn't stand for being told you can do this or you can do that. It's very much that we feel that we want to be a free international trading country again and get back to our roots, and of course that would mean very close relations with the United States as we've always had. And
there was some feeling that President Obama kind of overstepped during his trip?
Well, you know, I love America, and I don't blame President Obama as such. I blame my own Prime Minister, David Cameron. I think probably he was quite pleading, perhaps, with Obama, because he's very concerned, because the polls are looking as if it's going to be very close. And I think he thought that Obama coming and telling the British people that we would go to the back of the queue. I don't think that's a word you use in America. It was pretty clear that our Prime Minister had asked him to do it. And interestingly enough, although everybody liked Obama being there, and it was nice to see him seeing the Queen and visiting the palace and all of that, the polls didn't actually reflect. So he didn't really influence it. And I think it's important that the American public understand that this is not about breaking away from a relationship with the United States, that we just want to be like the Americans are able to do, trade freely, be democratic, organize ourselves and not be subject to the overriding rule of 27 other countries.
You mentioned the polls, and we have a look at The Economist has a compilation of the polls, and there you see the line there, by the way, is the president's visit, and the blue line kind of takes a jog down. It looks like it's essentially even right now.
Yeah, it's very, very even, and I think it's all going to depend a bit, perhaps like, you know, your election too, on turnout. We who feel strongly about leaving feel strongly about leaving. We think it's the right thing to do, and I think there is a great momentum behind us, whereas the people who want to stay, it's very much the establishment, the big institutions, the economists who got it so wrong over the fact that when we didn't join the euro, because the United Kingdom's not in the euro, and we were told that, you know, the country would fall to pieces, it's all been proved wrong. So I think this is going to be about the establishment, you know, the leaders of all the political parties against the people who feel disillusioned and let down by politicians, and that's why I feel pretty confident that there's a very good chance we will vote to leave.
How much is immigration driving this?
Well, of course, another thing that we have as part of the European Union is that that means over 500 million people from any of those other 27 countries can come to the United Kingdom without any control whatsoever. Again, you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't allow all the Mexican people and the Canadians just to simply walk in and come because you've got a free trade agreement. What this has been about for many years is some people within the rest of Europe wanting to get a closer union. They want a United States of Europe. Now, the United Kingdom, you know, is a country with a great history and a great past, and we don't want to be part of a United States of Europe. We want to trade with the EU. We want to cooperate on security matters, as we work very, very closely with, obviously, the United States, and of course NATO. We would still be members of NATO, and we're part of a lot of international bodies. It's a win-win, really, for us.
So when you hear Donald Trump talk about immigration here in the U.S., what do you think?
Well, we're not against immigration to the United Kingdom. You know, many of us are products.
Sure, I mean illegal immigration, stopping it.
Well, I think, you know, every country has to have the right to control who comes into their own country. We don't really have that at the moment in the United Kingdom. I think you still do in the United States, and it's very, very important.
Last thing, Warren Buffett told people on Friday he wouldn't vote for it. He thinks it's not going to ruin the world if it does pass, but he thinks that it would make Great Britain financially a step backward?
Oh, I think he's wrong. I think he's very wrong on that. I think it will actually improve. We're already trading as the United Kingdom far more outside the EU than inside the EU, and there's absolutely no reason why that won't continue and why we won't be able to increase our trade. And it is actually about our country getting control back, becoming democratic in the sense that when our public vote for their politicians, put me and others into Parliament, they want to know that we can do what we say we're going to do and not be stopped by unelected commissioners who are usually failed politicians.
Well, thank you for your time. I know you're catching a flight back to London.
Yeah,
so
it's been a great visit. Thank you.